Block Island fading into the background. Yes, that's right, I'm back at work. Just want to take a minute here to explain some stuff. I had shot some video before on Paquita, and I wanted to get it out to you because of this time of year. And don't worry, we're getting back to sailing. We got some sailing coming up in the end of the video there. But anyway, it's boat show season. I think it's the 18th of September right now, so I think the Newport Boat Show is in full works, or going to be pretty soon. I think it's this coming weekend. I don't know. I'm down here at work in Puerto Rico, so it doesn't really matter. But as I said earlier, we are going. Chris Lita and I are going to the Annapolis Boat Show, and we're going to go with somebody who I think you guys know and you guys will like as well. So that ought to be fun too. And being at the boat show, I've prepared myself for all the thousands of dollars I have to spend on stuff to buy for Paquita. There's going to be a whole bunch of stuff, the cool little gadgets you can only seem to find at the boat show. So I'll probably be finding those too, and who knows, maybe doing some live streaming there as well. But before that happens, I wanted to show you some things that over the last couple of years I have found to be really helpful for us sailing, and these are just a few of them. I've got this stupid Amazon affiliate thing, and look, it's I'm not trying to nickel and dime anybody. I'm just giving you ways to find stuff that you can get it yourself, and in the process I might get a shekel or two, and that's wonderful. Would love everything helps. But anyway, that's what it is. So with no further ado, let me go back to Paquita, back in, I think this was late August, and show you some of the things we had, and then we'll get back to sailing. You guys, thanks again so much. Hang in there. Probably one of the coolest gadgets that I have on board, I learned about from Delos. Anybody who watches this channel, I'm sure, has watched Delos. Those are the real guys. Anyway, this is really cool. It kind of looks like a flashlight, but it's really, you know, I think Delos calls it a portable sonar. This thing calls itself an LCD portable sounder. I love this thing. You just go in the dinghy, and, you know, have you ever gone to a spot and you're like, yeah, I'm cool anchored here, but I know the wind's gonna blow this way tomorrow, and I'd really like to get tucked up into this cove, but I don't know if I can get through there. Well, you don't want to run the boat up there and find out, so you get a tide measurement, find out what the tide's at, and then go over there and you just go bloop. And when you look at the reading right there, you know, you're gonna stick it in the water in the dinghy as you go by, and you can put a whole route in your dinghy and get soundings the whole way in. I haven't taken my boat to get hauled out yet, but the guy at the marina says that I've got to do it. I've got to back in all the way down into his marina to his travel lift, and I've got to do it at high water. Well, before I do that, I'm going to use this because I don't want to find out that he's wrong, and by backing into hopefully not a rock, but sand or mud or whatever, I don't like putting any of that pressure on the rudder, even though I have a skeg. It'd be nice to go into there forward. So anyway, this is just nice to go, and I'll be able to, you know, if I see 6 feet all the way down there at high tide, I've got nothing to worry about. Cool thing. You want one of these? We have them in the, you know, I got a link to it in my Amazon shop. If you're like me and you like to cook on the boat, you'll probably have a propane stove. And if you have a propane stove, you probably have something like this. This is a propane solenoid, so that you flick it on, and then it brings gas into your stove, and then you light your stove, and you're good to go with that. I always keep a couple of these on board, and you see this right here? This is the one. I'll even put the part number up here, but you can get all these parts. I'll have them on my store, so you can click on the store, and I'm not selling them, I'm just giving you a way to find them. But anyway, the difference between this one and this one is that I've already used the part here. If you've ever been in the middle of cooking, and it's usually when you have company over and there's something happening like that, right at the worst time, the gas goes out, and I don't mean like you run out of a tank. You can switch from one tank to the other, that's fine. But what will happen is the solenoid dies, this part right here. And for me, this has been something that I first blamed it on Runa when we were going offshore to Puerto Rico. Runa had the boat leaned over so much that I swear that propane locker is full of salt water, and it got salt water in the electrical part. It's a big electric magnet that lifts up. Anyway, so for the last few days, you know, this was when we first bought the boat. For the last few days, we didn't have anything. Since then, because I figured I didn't want to go out, you know, while the rail is buried and try to replace all of this and make a gas-tight connection. Well, since then I've learned, and I also realized that these things get hot. The older they get, the hotter they get. Apparently, they're supposed to be cooled by the propane going through here. I haven't found that to be the case, but I think the time that I did. The time that I'm blaming Runa for is when we were cooking ribs in the oven for like 3 hours, and so a lot of time for that solenoid to be open. But anyway, the reason why I'm telling you this is that you probably have this plumbed in line. You know, it'll look like this, coming in from the tank and going out to the rest of the boat. You don't have to replace all that and mess up any of the gas connections. You could just pop this pin right here, the solenoid comes right off, and slide it in the old one, and you're good to go. And that's why I have this one here, because I've already taken this one off. So all this, unfortunately, I haven't found a place yet. I'm still looking, but if I find it, I'll link that below too. But I don't need to buy all this extra stuff. I just want the solenoids. Those are the only things that seem to go bad. And anyway, I'm going to try to do that. But in the when it goes, and you have friends over and you're in an anchorage, you could change this out in under 5 minutes. You know, you pop that, cut the 2 wires, put the other ones on. I have you know, the solder seal connectors, so they're watertight, and you put it on and you're good to go. So this is my spare, but you should always have at least one spare around if you're going anywhere, because there's nothing worse than having a good meal planned and then having your solenoid die. So here's something that I think every boat should have in stock. Right on the shelf here. These are what we call solder seal connectors. And what's really cool is, you know, the old ones that you crimp together, that's all fine and all that, but it's not really a watertight connection, and you can put heat shrink over and all that. This is ready to go. You just basically bear off a wire, stick it through here, bear off another wire, stick it through here. Then you use a little torch like this, and you go, and it softens up the solder ring. This is a ring of solder right there. These rings right here tighten down, make a seal with mastic on the inside. Then as you do it, the solder goes and flows and melts, and the whole thing works great. It's phenomenal. You get here's 4 different sizes in here, and real short money too. And it's one of those things that when you need it, you can't wait for it. You got to do it right then and there. While we're talking about it, this is a great thing to have. I use this for not only doing solder seal, but I also use it for melting, you know, when I'm splicing a line or something like that. But oops, watch this now. I won't be able to get it to go. The thing usually goes really good here. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. There we go. It's usually one click on, but I think it's camera shy. Anyway, you can refill this with regular butane. I always keep a little bit of that on board so I can redo that. These things are phenomenal. Not only do I use it for doing the solder seal and melting wires and stuff like, melting lines, but I also use it if you bake in your oven. Sometimes it's hard to get that, what's the thing called, oh, so bad with names about stuff like this, but, is it the thermocouple, I think. Anyway, it's the safety device that makes sure that your pilot is lit. So if your pilot were to blow out, it wouldn't keep pumping gas into the boat and it drops out. So that's why you have to go and hold the button down and light it and keep the button down for a long time and all that. This thing right here, it puts out enough heat that you can go and in no time, you know, you light it and it gets the thermocouple, I think. Thermocouple, I don't know, you guys will tell me in the comments what it is. Anyway, you can you just click it once in the oven like that, and it's good to go, and it works really well. And you know, the same thing too is if you have an older boat like mine, you probably don't have the automatic igniting stove, so people will use a match or they'll use a lighter. I like this thing right here. I saw this on another sailing boat. I don't know if you can see this or not. Let me shut this light off here. There you go. Can you see that? Hopefully you can see that. Anyway, this thing's great. It works so great to light the oven, and it's USB charging, so you'll never run out of batteries or anything like that. You're always good to go. And those are things that I think are really cool. And once again, links to all those in the, not the links, but links to my store, and then you go to the Amazon store and you get these for the next day. So let's talk multimeters. It's called a clamp meter because you can clamp on a line like this, and it'll give you amperage. There's a lot of them out there, but don't be fooled. Most of the ones that are out there that are in the affordable range are for AC. They're not for DC. And then the DC ones that have been out there, I've had two other ones that I haven't liked at all. I like this one so much. I got one here and one for my house in Puerto Rico. I absolutely love this one. I don't know exactly, I should probably look this stuff up, but I think it's around, it's under $50. It's like $43 or something like that. But anyway, it'll do, voltage and amperage, and you can check continuity and all kinds of stuff. Anything like you can do on any multimeter, but it's small. It works really well. I've been beating it up for 3 years, and it hasn't rusted out or anything. And I use it all the time. So, and if you have solar on board, or if you have a big alternator or a big lithium system, you really shouldn't, especially with lithium, you really shouldn't just use voltage as a measure of what's happening. You really should concentrate more on amperage, and this is a quick way to do that. Sure, it's not as accurate as a shunt, but it will give you a really, it'll get you really close for the amount of effort you put in, so I highly recommend that. My newest favorite, most used tool on the boat right now is this contraption. Once again, I found this by another YouTuber. I haven't even taken this off. I'm just using it all the time. Anyway, it doesn't, if you do any work on your boat, it seems that you're always running wires all around the boat, and whether it's wires or hoses or whatever it is, we've all tried things like you start off pushing the wire, and you get 3/4 of the way, and then it stops. Then you get a coat hanger and you try that, and then the coat hanger gets hung up. Well, this thing is amazing. These little tools are so great. This is fiberglass, so you can bend this, and you get these, and you put them together to any size that you need, and it does more than like a coat hanger. Because of the bendiness like this, you can come and bend it right around a corner if you want, but you can also, you'll find that when you're coming around a corner, it'll get hung up on something. And what's neat about that is that this has the ability, because you can twist and turn and make it go, and it has been unless you've been in that situation, you might not realize how valuable this is, but this is a tool that has worked so well for me. We recently integrated our chart plotter. I have a Garmin chart plotter, and it displays all of our Victron data from our Victron Serbo. And in order to make it look nice up on the helm, I had to go in through where all the wires are, through the stainless steel pipe and all that, and get it all the way over. And this was invaluable for that, as it has been for just about everything else. One of those tools, like I say, it might sit on your shelf for a long time, never gonna rust. High quality. It works when you use it. You'll use it for everything. It's really good. Much better than and you usually have like electrician's fishing tape and snake and that sort of stuff. No, this is the way to go, definitely, and it stores up nice. So call me crazy, but this is something that's so silly, and a lot of people, especially people with island packets, have a lot of water. You see a lot of cruisers that will have all the fuel, the jerry jugs up and down the side, and the blue ones for potable water, and that's something very rare that you see on an island packet, because we usually have plenty of all that stuff. In the case of Paquita, we carry 250 gallons of water and 160 of fuel, so we should be good for a while. Having said that, the boat was built in 2002, and it's necessary every once in a while to chlorinate the lines, because it gets that funky stuff in the lines or whatever. So it's not unheard of that you hear people that buy bottled water to drink from. Well, I'm saying if you have 250 gallons of water, it shouldn't just be for showering. You should be able to do that. Now, a lot of the Island packets came with a Seagull water filtration system. My boat doesn't have that, and quite frankly, I'm not really interested in getting one. And nothing wrong with them. I mean, if the boat came with it, I'd be really happy with it. But get this, I bought this. This is a zero water. You can see we've made coffee 2 or 3 times already today. But this is a zero water filter. We just get water out of the tap, put it in there, and it's phenomenal. And I'm going to show you something. This should blow your mind. All right, ready? Let's do this. I've got a couple cups here, so we're going to get some water right out of the tap. Okay. Now I'm going to put this over here so I can use both hands. All right. It comes with a little TDS, Total Dissolved Solids meter. So you can see it says 0 right there. When I put this in the water, I can press hold. And that's at 50. It's at 50, which is apparently, according to the FDA, that's really clean water coming right out of my tap. But it could have things like cysts and molds and bacteria and all that sort of stuff. And it's also makes me feel better if I filter it. So if I clear this out, let me show you something else. I dump this. Now I'm going to get a different glass, and this is, you know what, you probably won't believe me when I do this. I'm going to get a bottle of bottled water over here. Now check this out. This is all one take. No smoke and mirrors here. I gotta. Okay, there we go. Had to do that so you see. Okay, so look, you pour a little bit of Dasani water in there. Now, granted, there are some people say, well, Dasani puts stuff in their water to make it taste better, and that's probably true. But nevertheless, I do this right here. And now that's coming at about 26 parts per million. Can you see that? All right, so that's at 26. So now I'm going to clear that out. Now, let's do this. Here's the, I don't know how I can do this. Oh, I can do it over here. So, come over here and we get some water from the filter. This is the water that we just filtered right out of the boat's water there. Put it in. Look at that. It's at 1 part per million. And I gotta tell you, I changed this filter back when we were still in Fort Lauderdale. And that was like April or May. And it's like just about September. I think it's the 28th of September, 29th of September now. And we use a lot of water. We drink a lot through. So there's been a lot of stuff that's gone through that filter. We carry about 3 extra ones on board. But you can see that. That's crazy. It works really, really well. And like I say, it tastes great. And if you ever want to stop buying a whole bunch of water, you say, why do we have ours on board? Chrysalida is on a quest to make me lose weight, and she seems to think that if I have a bottled water in my hand instead of beer, maybe I will lose some. But we usually drink right out of that, and we'll probably be filling these up because, not because we're cheap, but why not? The water coming out of the filter is awesome. Highly recommend it. We just had a wonderful weekend in Block Island with my son and his girlfriend. And here's the lovely Chrysalida. Yeah, so it's blowing true is 17.5. We're headed back to New London, so we're moving right along. I'll show you the wind here. The wind is, well, you can see the angle right there. So, you know, it says apparent 49 degrees. We're making 5.7. It was 6.5 just a second ago, but we're beating into the waves and the tide. But the real problem is we've got so much growth on the bottom, and we're towing the dinghy, and the dinghy looks better now than it did before. It's just the barnacles on it now. I think dragging it along all weekend has blown some of the slime off the bottom, but we've got so many stuff. When you see the video of us pulling it off, I mean, we haven't done the video yet, but when the boat comes out of the water next month, I think we're going to have a whole bunch of colonies of life that we're going to be disturbing when we take off the hull, take them off the hull. But because of that, we're only doing a little bit here. We should be getting in at this rate. If we keep the speed up, we'll get in just about 8 o'clock at night to our moorings. And that's it. But just wanted to show you a little bit of us. You can see we just put the sails out, so the lines are all over the place as we're doing. We're cruising. Oh, I didn't tell you what we were heeled over here. You guys are probably loving this camera action. Yeah, we're right at about 20 degrees of heel. See that right there? Now about 15. But yeah, we're doing 6 knots right now, which, like I say, is very slow for Paquita. But I really think it's because the bottom is so dirty. And we'll have more proof of that next month when she comes out of the water. It looks like when I deployed the head sail, things got all messed up here because we deployed it underway and we're going pretty fast. I can't do that with one hand. Yeah, you do it. Pistolito will get on that, but see, she's looking pretty good. It's the holiday weekend, the unofficial end of summer. So it's only fitting that we have a beautiful sail from Block Island back home. Here we go, perfect. So that's all looking good now. And we're loving life. It's gonna be pretty good. My son and his girlfriend came out on the ferry, and they're meeting up with some friends. They'll be going on the ferry tonight. They go to Point Judith, where we go into New London. And then they drive up to Boston. But just wanted to get some video of us actually sailing. I have a feeling you're going to see a lot of video content in the future of us doing all kinds of stuff for a refit. Trying to do a refit this winter. So anyway, more on that as we go. Just a little bit of us sailing. Hope you guys had a wonderful holiday weekend as well. You guys take care, be safe, and I'll see you on the one.